The year 2025 started with a terrible tragedy. Jeju Air Flight 2216 met a terrible fate. The Boeing 737-800 carrying 181 people was flying from Bangkok to South Korea. What started as a normal flight quickly turned into a desperate fight to survive. Near South Korean airspace, the pilots reported a bird strike. The bird strike badly damaged an engine, making it almost impossible to stay in the air. The pilots started emergency procedures, working hard to regain control. Bird strikes, while a known risk in aviation, are generally not fatal. However, the impact on Flight 2216 proved catastrophic. The engine failed, leaving the aircraft struggling to stay airborne. The pilots fought bravely to maintain control. The impact shook the cabin violently, startling passengers. Fear and uncertainty filled the hearts of those on board. Oxygen masks dropped, a clear reminder of the danger.
Mayday. Mayday. This is Jeju Air Flight 2216. We have experienced a bird strike and have lost an engine. Requesting immediate assistance and clearance for emergency landing.
Amidst the chaos, the pilots stayed calm, their voices steady as they communicated with air traffic control. They relayed the severity of the situation, requesting immediate assistance and clearance for an emergency landing. Every second counted as they fought to stabilize the aircraft and buy precious time. The air traffic controllers, their voices betraying their own anxiety, worked tirelessly to clear a path for the stricken aircraft. They guided Flight 2216 towards Muan International Airport, the closest suitable landing site, while emergency crews raced to the scene, their sirens wailing in the distance. The emergency landing was chaotic and terrifying for those on board. The aircraft, damaged and unstable, headed towards the runway, the pilots struggling to maintain control. The sound of scraping metal filled the air as the plane touched the ground, sending sparks flying. Passengers held on tightly to their seats, their hearts pounding in their chests as they braced for impact. The crash landing was only the beginning of the ordeal. The impact tore through the aircraft, ripping it apart and scattering debris across the runway. Flames erupted, engulfing the wreckage in a fiery inferno. The scene was one of utter devastation, a testament to the unforgiving nature of such tragedies. Yet, amidst the wreckage and despair, a glimmer of hope emerged. Two passengers, their bodies battered and bruised but their spirits unbroken, were pulled from the fire by first responders. Their survival, against all odds, provided a ray of light in the face of unimaginable tragedy. The survivors, rushed to nearby hospitals, recounted tales of courage and resilience. They spoke of the chaos and terror of those final moments, but also of the kindness and compassion shown by fellow passengers. Their stories, while heartbreaking, served as a poignant reminder of the strength of the human spirit. Section 4. The Long Road to Understanding. In the aftermath of the tragedy, investigators from South Korea and around the world came to the crash site. They faced the difficult task of figuring out what led to the crash, searching for answers in the wreckage and the black box recordings.
Their work, meticulous and painstaking, was crucial to preventing similar tragedies in the future. The investigation focused on several key questions. Why did the bird strike cause such catastrophic engine failure? Were there any other factors, such as mechanical issues or pilot error, that contributed to the crash? And why was the aircraft unable to make a successful emergency landing?
The presence of a concrete wall near the runway raised concerns about the airport's safety standards. Experts questioned whether the wall's proximity to the runway may have contributed to the severity of the crash. The investigation promised to be lengthy and complex, with no easy answers.
Families of the victims, grappling with their grief and loss, demanded answers. They sought solace in the memories of their loved ones, but also justice for their untimely deaths. The investigation, they hoped, would bring closure and prevent such a tragedy from happening again.